So we finally have an episode of Steven Universe that I didn't like, which was Rocknaldo. But before I get into that, quick thing I want to address. People took my joke comment on Cartoon Universe's face reveals a little bit too seriously. Me and Haley live in 2 different states, so yeah, that ship is dead, guys. Anyways, what didn't I enjoy about Rocknaldo? Well, other Rocknaldo episodes have some kind of conflict or scenario revolving around it. It has its own unique style. This episode lacked its own style. When you look at Keep Beat City Weird, you had Ronaldo's over-the-top Sneeple conspiracy, and a lot of unique perspective shots with Ronaldo. When you look at Rising Tide, Crashing Skies, you have Ronaldo's little documentary, and it has a lot of cuts and edits like a documentary. Freeze frames, voiceovers, etc. But when you have this episode, you don't have any style with it. So it's already kind of inconsistent with previous Ronaldo-heavy episodes. And while mostly dialogue-heavy episodes aren't bad, in fact, I like episodes that have a lot of dialogue. It's nice to see these characters interact because these are interesting characters. But this one, I get the message was, don't join a cause if you're not 100% about it. It was executed pretty poorly. While I never seen Ronaldo as kind of the jerky character before, but rather over the top, kind of almost like a journalist stopping at nothing to get a good story, always putting his blog on top. In this episode, I felt like he was being just unnecessarily condescending and like a really big jerk. How he was criticizing Connie and then even Steven as Crystal Gems, when he hasn't even been on a mission yet. He didn't even go on a mission on this episode. And that's where this episode failed. If you wanted to have an episode about Ronaldo wanting to join the Crystal Gems, have him try sword training. Have him get completely wrecked by a Hollow Pearl and Pearl has to step in to stop it. Have one of the gems assign him the simple task of cleaning out Amethyst's room. But since Amethyst's room is just this wasteland of junk and essentially is a void of the unknown, have him stumble upon some kind of creature in Amethyst's room. Have him insist that he's ready to go on a corrupted gem mission when he's clearly not, or have a corrupted gem attack Beat City, since it's been a while since we had that, and Ronaldo tried to capture it or do something, and he just makes a complete fool of himself and endangers his life. You know, Crystal Gem activities, stuff that the gems actually do. Instead, you have him stay up a week straight because gems don't sleep, and give himself a gem name, which was Bloodstone. And I'll get to that stuff in a second, because I know people are upset with Cartoon Network. And please, if you're going to be offending one, make sure it is Cartoon Network and not the Crewniverse. They had no involvement in this. That entire move was on Cartoon Network's press. Another big issue I have with this is, I've always believed that gems should be in Beat City episodes, that it would make it a lot more interesting. However, the gems served little to no purpose in this actual episode, because again, Ronaldo didn't really do any Crystal Gem activities. Sure, we had Pearl call him funny names like Bloodfry, but beyond that, they were really just a peanut gallery in this episode. They were nothing but commentary. Remove them, the plot barely changes. Not only was this the weakest Ronaldo episode so far, but in my opinion, it was the weakest Steven Universe episode so far. Again, I get the message. I like that they tried to tell that kind of message, but they went about it the wrong way. Ronaldo does have a better understanding of the gems now, so that is character development, and if you want to make the argument that that alone renders this episode as not filler, then go ahead. Again, I don't believe any episode of Steven Universe is filler, since I go by the legitimate definition of filler, and filler is rather objective as opposed to subjective. However, that does not prevent this episode from lacking its own style, being inconsistent with the other Ronaldo episodes because of that, and just being very poorly executed. For once, I was disappointed in a Steven Universe episode, not because I was expecting this or that to happen, but because I was expecting more to happen, because usually when Beat City episodes occur, I'm not expecting some grand overall revelation. I'm just expecting to have a good time with these characters, and I feel like this episode missed the mark on that. Maybe it's because the character of Rocknaldo only works in bigger situations, like a grand conspiracy theory, or dealing with a corrupted lighthouse gem. But him just talking about being a crystal gem and not actually doing anything, not even remotely actually trying to be one, so essentially just 12 minutes of Ronaldo yapping, yeah, that's not gonna work out. As for the Bloodstone thing, again, the Crewniverse had no involvement in that. They didn't know they were gonna do that. This episode was made like a year ago. Be mad at Cartoon Network for that. Be mad at the social media team for that, if you could put the blame on anyone, because I do feel like that was the wrong way of approaching advertisement for this episode. However, I will condemn the Crewniverse for one thing. At the end of this episode, it's been 1 month since that will be all, since this episode took place over the span of a month. Where is Homeworld? Yellow said there's still time to go to Earth and get some humans for the zoo. Well, it's already been a month, lady. If you think the cluster's still gonna emerge, how much time is there really? The Crewniverse needs the main characters to address what Yellow Diamond said, because Steven, Ruby, and Sapphire were all in the room when Yellow said, then there's still time. And this is where the storytelling Steven is getting annoying. It's basically turning into, I'll text you later. But that's for an entirely separate video, and these are just my thoughts, and I want to hear yours, so please comment down below. What did you think of this episode? And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, it really helps us out. Follow us on social media, links to everything in the description down below. Vox, signing out.